Plants vs. Brainrots, a game that was inside Roblox for only a few months. It has reached an all-time high of 8.6 million players and has been growing ever since. However, it faces a brand new issue that may even have the game sued inside the next few months. And it's not even Plants vs. Brainrots, but a bunch of Roblox games as well. Inside this video, I'll be talking about how Plants vs. Brainrots and its current rising factor may reach an abrupt end, from how its gameplay would change to its lasting effects inside Roblox. So what I want you to do right now is to like the video and subscribe to this channel. Plants vs. Brainrots is a game inside Roblox that has been very popular for a very long time. However, to understand the grave issue of the problem, we must first understand its key gameplay. Plants vs. Brainrots is a game I have covered inside the past. I said inside that video that Plants vs. Brainrots is basically a copy of Plants vs. Zombies. It's just with different brainrots inside the game. This genre of brainrots has become very popular to the point that many other games have been appearing as well inside the platform. Although Plants vs. Brainrots is quite amongst the very few games that have a consistent amount of players. Specifically, they're joining their game just to beat these different brainrots. You see, to earn money inside this game, you will have to kill different brainrots with plants that you can get in a 5-minute window. Of course, there are limited plants as well, but those do not really matter. With each brainrot inside the game, it has been a very important theme that Plants vs. Brainrot has. In fact, if they didn't even have these brainrots inside their game, then no one would even try the game inside the first place. As if you haven't known it yet, Roblox is very popular, and with its topmost games having brainrots inside them. Now, Plants vs. Brainrots has its most recent update. We can already see that the game has changed a lot, specifically these brainrots that we could see inside the game. Now, if you have already played Plants vs. Brainrots inside the past, you would get what I'm saying much more easier. But for the sake of those who do not watch my channel, these brainrots are not the same as it was. For example, we have the Bombardiro Crocodillo, a brainrot that has been very popular inside TikTok and other platforms. These brainrots are what make the game iconic. However, there's one key problem. They changed the Bombardiro Crocodillo. It's no longer a brainrot that looks significantly close to the brainrot it once was. And it's a very pressing factor, as this change means that there is something going on. However, let's backtrack a bit and let me tell you about the story of another hit game inside Roblox. The game is called Steal a Brainrot, that you've probably already heard if you played Roblox, as this has reached over 24 million players just this summer. It's quite insane for a game like this to even reach the height that it has. It only blew up in popularity due to it being a brainrot game that many kids enjoy. Although Steal a Brainrot has had this problem inside the past, it was in some sort of drama due to the same reason that seems very similar to what Plants vs. Brainrots is experiencing. Steal a Brainrot has had some controversy about a specific brainrot called the Tung 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 Sahur. This brainrot is very popular for children, and in fact, if you're a child who does not know this brainrot, then you're one of the healthier ones to say the least. Tung 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 Sahur was removed from Steal a Brainrot because they were allegedly threatened to be sued by a certain company. This company holds multiple brainrots and their ownership, and they allegedly said that if Sammy does not pay for the usage of Tung 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 Sahur, they will take legal action towards him and the game. Eventually, Sammy, the lead developer of Steal a Brainrot, removed the character entirely, so that way, he wouldn't even have to pay the company and the owner inside the first place. Although, people did discover what he had done, and with videos covering this matter, as of course, drama will always surface, and for us YouTubers, content is content. Now, with another brainrot game called Plants vs. Brainrots, people have discovered, or rather much more obvious changes, of brainrots that were previously inside the game have been taken out. It didn't even take long before people started questioning it inside the Discord server. Like, for example, what default says right here is Tralalero, Tralala, and Bombardiro Crocodillo removed for copyright reasons. Or like what Jonathan says right here, yo, I think I've got into an updated server, there's no Bombardiro Crocodillo, and it was replaced by the new flying brainrots like the fox. Specifically, let's talk about the Bombardiro Crocodillo. This brainrot is pretty popular too inside the brainrot genre. In fact, this is the brainrot that has been seen inside TikTok for who knows how long, as I've pretty much seen this so many times. Bombardiro Crocodillo was also inside Stila Brainrot as well. With how popular that brainrot is, it's basically an icon like Tung 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 Sahur. However, this brainrot has been replaced with something much more different, and it's called the Arelino Armadillo. Now, this brainrot isn't exactly the same. Many players have wondered where did this even come from. It's safe to say that many people weren't surprised that all of their Bombardiro Crocodillos have been replaced by a totally different brainrot. This similar instance isn't just for the Bombardiro Crocodillo. It also happened to appear for the Tralala with the construction a Tralala. With all of these brainrot changes, and not only that, the popular ones too, it raises the question what is happening to Plants vs Brainrots, or in fact, the brainrot genre in Roblox entirely. You see, the situation is so similar to what happened to Stila Brainrot. They changed the brainrots just because of a certain group using the intellectual property to say whether or not their brainrots can appear inside the game. Now with all of this, people start to question what could possibly happen and be the consequences. And a short disclaimer though, is that the next things that I will say next will be purely of speculation. Now the consequences of Plants vs Brainrots could be much worse than Stila Brainrot, as the game did not only remove or change one factor, it did it to multiple of its brainrots. Either they were all sued by multiple companies all at once that owns all of the brainrots that were mentioned, or they did it to avoid getting sued by these different companies. You see, there's such thing as an IP or intellectual property, and just to give you a short explanation of how this all works, IP is basically used so that you cannot use whatever design, character, or invention and straight up just copy it. And for these games, that's basically what they're doing. They're getting all of these characters and using it for their own game. Of course, there are some ethical concerns that I do not really want to delve into, as if I did, this video would be so much longer. However, with the recent events that Stila Brainrot has had inside the past few months, it could have made multiple people who own these different brainrots purge every single Roblox game inside the platform, and basically ask them to remove all these brainrots or just keep them at an exchange of money. Now this could ruin Plants vs Brainrots and basically the entire brainrot genre inside the platform. With the existence of this quote-unquote purge, that means that everyone using this genre as an excuse to make a popular game amongst kids, these would all shut down. Now this poses a massive threat to Plants vs Brainrots, that inside the future they might not even get to use brainrots anymore and completely use a brainrot of their own. However, there's a massive problem about this. It's not about brainrots anymore, so basically they can't even call the game Plants vs Brainrots, as the core of brainrot stems from these different characters that are popular inside TikTok that rot my brain. Now this raises the concern, or whether for some of you guys that have been waiting for this moment to happen for a very long time, could Plants vs Brainrots or the brainrot genre get sued or lead to its decline in the succeeding months? As of right now, it's too early to say anything, as this is just an observation that many players have seen inside the recent update. This of course could get far worse, to the point that every brainrot isn't even a brainrot anymore, or it could just get better where the game will just live as is. With a huge rise of multiple brainrot games that has been appearing inside the platform that some people say as Roblox slop, people continue to play these games, especially since they see these characters. Now this could possibly all end since many of these games have the same brainrots, like for example Bombardiro Crocodillo, Tralala, or Tung 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 Sahur. If all of these games were to suddenly disappear, for example, and be a completely different character, a brainrot that we have never seen before, then of course less kids would play these games and player counts would decrease. This is a domino effect of course, and some kind of tangent that could happen in the succeeding months. Although it isn't far-fetched though, as this has been occurring many times where many of these brainrots have been disappearing every single week from all of these games. Now, I would like to ask you guys watching this video of what you could possibly think would happen to Plants vs. Brainrots. I would also love to see what you guys have to say and the possible debates or discussions you could have. And of course, since this won't be the end of this issue, I would recommend for you to subscribe to watch the next part of what may happen inside the future. Just remember, I post every single Friday, so just wait for that every single week. But anyways, this is the story of Plants vs. Brainrots and their brand new problem inside the game.